We've all heard the phrase, French women don't get fat. But what happens when a French woman does struggle with weight and with never having learned to truly care for herself? In today's episode, you'll meet Muriel, a courageous woman who not only shattered that myth, but released over 100 pounds in the process. Her journey is about so much more than the number on the scale. It's a story of deep self-realization, healing fractured relationships, reconnecting with her body, and discovering the power to change from the inside out. Muriel's transformation began the moment she made a decision, not just to lose weight, but to rewrite the story she had been telling herself her entire life. If you've ever felt disconnected from your body, stuck in patterns you didn't know how to break, or unsure whether it's really possible to change, Muriel's story will move you, inspire you, and remind you. The most powerful transformation begins the moment we choose to believe we're worthy of it. Did you know that our struggle with weight doesn't start with the food on your plate or get fixed in the gym? 80% of our weight struggle is mental. That's right. The key to unlocking long-term weight release and management begins in your mind. Hi there, I'm Rita Black. I'm a clinical hypnotherapist, weight loss expert, best-selling author, and the creator of the Shift Weight Mastery process. And not only have I helped thousands of people over the past 20 years achieve long-term weight mastery, I am also a former weight struggler, carb addict, and binge eater. And after 2 decades of failed diets and fad weight loss programs, I lost 40 pounds with the help of hypnosis. Not only did I release all that weight, I have kept it off for 25 years. Enter the Thin Thinking podcast, where you too will learn how to remove the mental roadblocks that keep you struggling. I'll give you the thin thinking tools, skills, and insights to help you develop the mindset you need, not only to achieve your ideal weight, but to stay there long term and live your best life. Sound good? Let's get started. Bonjour, bonjour, bonsoir. I hope you are très, très bien. Oh my goodness. I am so sorry. I just had to do that. So come on in. Entrez-vous, entre-nous. Entrez mes amis, right? Oh my gosh. All of my bad years of bad French lessons in high school. Just, you would never even know. Okay. So I have an amazing, and Muriel, I'm so sorry you had to listen to that. I had a very moving interview with Muriel, who is from France and is now maintaining her ideal weight after having released over 100 pounds. And her story is so vulnerable and inspiring, and I know you're going to find it motivating for your own journey. She, Muriel, will also be a coach at the upcoming Fall 2025 Shift that is coming up just around the corner. And the prep is actually starting September 17th, and day one of the 30-day process is starting September 26th. So I can't wait. But coming up even sooner is a free masterclass that I am hosting, one on August 13th, one on August 15th, and one on August 16th. And I'm inviting you to come and join me. It's going to be a lot of fun. We are going to dive in to weight management from a subconscious standpoint. We're going to do some weight loss hypnosis, but we're also going to dive into the subconscious barriers that keep us struggling with weight and how to use your mind effectively to blast through them so that you can finally get consistency. Because let's face it, you know how to lose weight, but the challenge is always taking it off, keeping it off, and long-term permanent weight management. So we're going to look at that a lot more deeply. It's called Mastering Your Mindset for Permanent Weight Release. The link is in the show notes, but also if you hop on over to www.shiftweightmastery.com/live, you can also sign up. www.shiftweightmastery.com/live, and you can watch it from your phone, your desktop, or your tablet. Please come. I would love for you to be there. Okay, let's now start. How do you say start in French? Oh my gosh. Well, anyway, let's begin. Please meet Muriel. Welcome, Muriel, to the Thin Thinking podcast. And I wanted to say bonjour.
Bonjour, Rita. Thank you for having me. Thank you. I'm so happy to be speaking with you.
How do you say welcome in French? I feel so undereducated. I know the movie Cabaret and they say Willkommen, and that's German.
That's German.
But how do you say it?
We say bienvenue.
Oh, bienvenue, of course.
Bienvenue.
Right. Bienvenue. Welcome. Okay. Bienvenue.
Bienvenue.
So bienvenue to the Thin Thinking podcast.
Merci, Rita. Merci beaucoup pour ton accueil. Thank you so much.
I think you are a first. You are the first French woman that I've interviewed for the Thin Thinking podcast. So you're opening the doors to Europe for the Thin Thinking podcast. We have a lot of European listeners, but I don't know that I've interviewed that many European people. So I'm very excited to talk with you about your amazing journey, but also about the difference, because you and I were chatting about this before we turned on record, about the difference in this mythology of the French and European eating.
Yes.
And
unfortunately.
Yes. But yeah, so I usually like to just start our interview, since we're talking about your weight release journey, just to kind of give us a brief idea of your journey with weight before you came to the shift. But yeah, just your weight struggle, I guess, is what I would say.
Yes, just to set the background, I'm just going to say that I had a very chaotic childhood with kind of dysfunctional family around emotions. We did not talk about emotions. Was not very supportive. I mean, it was okay. It was kind of chaotic, let's say.
Yeah.
And so it built my personality with enormous lack of structure. Yes, I was kind of raised by the wolves, and so I have a complete lack of structure, and kind of antenna for people who would want to take control over me. Right. And so I'm like a free republic, and I need my freedom. And so I think that's important to know, because it could have impact my ability to turn to hypnosis to solve my weight problem. See, when I was a kid, I was not fat. I mean, when I look at pictures objectively, I mean, I was not fat. I was a little bit chubby. I was a little chubby. I was not skinny, but I was not fat. But my parents, my mother had weight issues because she came from a family of with heavy obesity, and so she was always very mindful of her weight, and so she went in crazy diets like Scottsdale or pineapple or popcorn, whatever, of grape, whatever, and she would take me with her, and so I mean, I was convinced from a young age that I had weight issues, and so I would dive into crazy diets. I mean, okay, so when I was in high school, for instance, I mean, I was very self-conscious. I was convinced I was overweight, and well, objectively, I was 5'2" at that time. I'm 5'1" now.
Mhm.
I lost one inch, so I'm in the 5'1" club. I know there's many of us in this club here, and I was 5'2", and I was weighing like, I don't know, 130 pounds. So I mean, my BMI was around 24, 25. I was not overweight, and but I was very self-conscious, and I was convinced I was overweight, and so I was uncomfortable in my body already at that time. And then when I was a senior in high school, I was 16. I had skipped different classes, and I was ready to graduate. And I heard about the Rotary Exchange Student Program with the United States, and I said, I have to go to the United States. That's for me. So I decided I would do it, and so I I went to the jury, and I got in because my English was already pretty good, and because I had spent many hours with the Beatles, and so I think my English came from there. And so I got in. I mean, I was really lucky. I mean, I was just overjoyed with that. It was in '82. I was 16, and I just took a plane and arrived in near Ithaca.
Oh,
I
upstate New York.
Upstate New York on Cayuga Lake. And there was on a dairy farm with those wonderful people, Catholic farmers and teachers in Cornell. I mean, they were teaching at Cornell University, and they were just like wonderful people. And so I had a great year. I was kind of struggling because I mean, the American way to communicate is kind of different from our way to communicate, because we're very like, how would I put that? Um, um, I can't find the words.
Like Americans are more effusive, outgoing emotionally, sharing more, would you say, or no?
More explicit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we come from a very implicit culture, and American culture appeared to me very more explicit, and so my jokes were my jokes were just not really understood. But it was very a different way of communicating, but it was very interesting to observe. And and I mean, were much kinder. I mean, much nicer, because in France we're kind of always like complaining and cynical, and I didn't find that where I was. It was kind of strange, but I got used to it. And it was kind of strange when I got back to France, because and that was really nice. But and even though I managed to stay away from milk and peanut butter and Coke, I gained 25 pounds in the United States, because I
Oh.
mean, the way of eating was so different from what I was used to.
Can I
And so I
ask,
just,
Muriel, how is it different? Like, was it portion sizes? Was it the content of the food being more refined? Uh,
yeah, that's mainly it. I mean, much more carb, more grazing, and like the
Snacking
extra,
between
yeah,
meals.
snacking, right? And the extra ice cream at night, and all
Yeah.
those calories just added up. And especially the snack at night. I'm not somebody who used to snack at night. I've never been that kind of person. I still I'm not. But at that time, we would have that extra dessert at night, and I think that did it.
Well,
Was
I think
like
that was something I noticed when I went to live in England, was that snacking culture was not as prevalent. Or if you were, it was a very mindful snack. It wasn't like grazing on things at all. It was like, I'm going to have tea and I'm going to have a cookie with my tea, but I'm not going to sit in front of the television and eat a bunch
binge,
of things.
right?
Yeah.
Well, that would depend, I think, on the people, because
Mhm.
I think people can like
Of
couch
course.
potatoes and eat
I
chips in
just
front
meant
of the TV
culturally
too.
there was
But
like less
it's
of
not
a
the yeah,
tendency.
it's not the initial culture, right? And so I think that the late snack really did it
Uh-huh.
because
So you got in the habit of that when you were there.
yeah, right. And so I came back home, and my parents were horrified. And I dropped some of it, but not all of it. And I went to the university, and I was into sports. And I had a room. I was renting a room downtown, and I was on a very tight budget, so I was eating crap. So
Mhm.
I was not too good. I was eating a lot of carbs, and those dry noodles you put like
Yeah,
boiling water
ramen.
in it.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Ramen.
ramen. Right. I would like, and we have that in France. We used to have. I don't know if we still have it because I'm not interested in it anymore. But we used to have that sort of bread cake called mendiant, which would translate into beggar. That's made out of all the leftovers of pastries and breads.
Oh, wow. Hmm.
And they would sell that in bakeries for like nothing, and I would like live on that. So I was like my diet was really poor and very caloric. So I kept struggling with my weight. I was like conscious that I was not very satisfied with my weight. But then I went to engineering school, and I was really into sports. I was still carrying my body scale with me, and I remember I was weighing the exact same weight I'm weighing today, because that's a big win for me today. And but at that time, I was really like not satisfied with my weight, and I always, I mean, I was always conscious about that. And then I started to I started to work. I built my own company. It was a business intelligence company. I was 25. I got married, got 2 kids, and I just overworked. I was just working like 70 or 80 hours a
Oh,
week, like 7 days a week, and I was just completely stressed out and exhausted in all the time. And my I was eating at restaurants every day, and I just like the weight started to creep up, and I was not exercising much at that time. And then I really started to gain weight the second time with my pregnancies,
hmm.
because with each pregnancy I gained just about like 50 pounds, and
Mm.
I released some of it, but not all of it. And I was really like, from my childhood, I was like lacking structure, as I said, but I was also very disconnected from my body and my emotions. And so I just like, I was kind of, that's a problem I should solve, but I want to ignore it. I was like, trying to ignore my body. And at the same time, my inner critic was all over the place, I would say today, with the shift. And so I was very uncomfortable, but I was trying to ignore my body most of the time. And so the weight just like started to creep up and up and up.
Can I ask you, Muriel, at this time, so you were disconnected from your body, and were you then not trying to lose weight? You were focused on your business, you were focused on raising your children, it sounds like you were just like kind of caught up in everything. So there was no sort of, I should do something about this. It was just, this is going on.
Well, I tried several times, but I mean, I was I didn't trust myself at all.
Mhm.
Okay, so I didn't have a history of showing up for myself, so I did not trust myself at all. So I would like be very tentative about, like, I enrolled in Weight Watchers, and I released like 20 pounds, and I almost by a hair reached my goal. They gave me the pin, and
Mhm.
I never reached my goal, and I just like took the weight back up and more. I mean, the weight
Right.
just came back up and more. And so I was really disappointed. And then I tried like several things. I tried with a doctor. I tried a hyper protein
Mhm.
diet,
Mhm.
and I released weight because it
Mhm.
was like mono diet and with powders and things. And I just started to have kidney issues, and I got
Mhm.
stuck. And so the doctor just like accused me of not putting in enough effort. And I just went, wow,
Oh
that's
no.
crazy. I'm going to ruin my health with that. So I stopped that and just regained the weight and more. And I was getting really desperate because, I mean, the weight really started to creep up, like really, really high. And I was in a pretty bad divorce that lasted like years. And then and so that was pretty hard emotionally. And the weight went up again because food was my comfort
Comforts.
place,
Yeah.
was my refuge. And um and then, I mean, it just kept going up. I there was no particular event. It was just kept going up. And it
Right.
was like, I was in despair. I mean, I was really desperate about that. But I was not ready to do anything because I knew that if I tried something, I was afraid to jinx it. I knew that if I tried something, it would maybe work a little bit, but then I would gain the same weight and more.
Right.
So I just said, like, stop with the diet, just forget about it, and just, I mean, that's my fate. And okay, so just stop it. So I just decided to stop trying to release weight because I knew I was going to gain more. So I was like trying to maintain whatever number I was climbing at.
Yeah.
So that was terrifying. And I was at the point where I could barely walk because I was I mean, we can give numbers. I mean, I count in kilos, but I can translate to pounds. I was up to 245 pounds for 5 feet 1 inch. So that's just a lot. Let's say just a lot. And so my knees couldn't bear me, and I couldn't hardly walk, and I could hardly walk, and so I would not exercise at all, and I was just like I became a couch potato, and I was just like trying to ignore my body. I was dreaming of being a pure brain and just
Uh,
dismiss my body, and well, of course that would not happen.
but
And
think it's
yep,
important to mention because I think a lot of people feel that like incredibly disconnected from their bodies and that they are ahead, just kind of like
yeah,
existing. And I remember feeling so disconnected that like I would only look at my from the chin up. I couldn't even look at the rest of myself. Do you know what I
so
mean?
true. Yeah, and well, in my bathroom, I have mirrors, and I mean, I today I can't believe um, how I used to treat myself, how I used to speak to myself in front of the
Mm.
mirrors. I mean, that's awful. I apologize to myself today because I mean, that was just awful. I would like insult myself in front of the mirror
Oh
all the
yeah.
time.
Oh.
And I had those huge mirrors in the bathroom. Why did I build that? And so I would see myself every day and just like insult myself every day. Just okay. So I guess people can relate to that. And but that's not me today. That's not me. I mean, there's a life after that, thanks to the shift. So
Well,
so
at what point did you like so you were not walking, I mean not able to move very well and you were in a lot of, self-abusive pain, what changed that made you think, well, maybe there is something I can do, that there is hope, like where did that fork in the road happen for you? And what happened around that? Like, what was the defining
Yeah.
moment for you?
Um, well, my children are grown-ups now, and um, with my daughter, who's 30 now, she's going to turn 30 next year, sorry. Um, well, we've had that period where she wanted space, and I was feeling so bad about that. I mean, I was feeling ashamed and guilty, and was thinking, what can I do? What can I do? I know I was not the best mother. I was not always there. I mean, I today, if I had to redo it, I would do it completely differently. But that's who I was at that time, and I did the best I could with with who I was. But nevertheless, she suffered quite a bit with the lack of my presence because I was working all the time.
Right.
And so this built kind of a complicated relationship, and at one point she asked for space, and at first I did not get it, so I was trying to push the thing and trying to see what I could do to reconnect. And the more I was trying, the more she was like disappearing. She was living in Spain at that time, and she still is. And it was it was so painful. I mean, I was like crying every night, crying like, what can I do? What can I do? What can I do? And one night, I was dreaming in English, and words came to me. It was adult, estranged, no, estranged adult child. I mean, we don't have equivalent in French. I mean, it doesn't translate to French.
No.
And I woke up. I went on the internet, and I had my phone by my bed, and I met that amazing therapist. Um, I don't know if I can give her a name because she's just a unique person. She's Tina Gilbertson, if you want to look her up. And she's just an incredible person. And she has those podcasts. Her thing is to reconnect families, and in the same spirit as you are. I mean, like non-judgmental, very. I mean, her mantra is at the end of each podcast is remember that you're loving, lovable, and still growing human being. So please take good care of yourself. And it's that mindset. And it was the first time that it was like a grace came down on me. I mean, it was just soothing, and it just like it was insta healing. And so I I I'm talking about that because you happened next, and but that happened first, and that started the
It
thing, the
opened a
process.
door.
It opened the door, and so I started to listen to her podcasts, and I understood so many things, and it gave me so much clarity about what was going on inside me and how I had to take care of myself first. It was just, I mean, I kept listening to the podcast like night after night, and I wrote this note to my daughter, and I said, "You need space. I get it. I give you space, and I love you. Reconnect whenever you're ready, and I'm there." And I never wrote again. And it took a year and a half. And one day I got a letter in the mailbox, and she wrote to me. And then it took me 2 months to answer because it was kind of tough. And I just apologized, like from the bottom of my heart, for everything, uh, everything she told me, and I just validated everything and just asked for forgiveness for. I mean, asked for forgiveness. Just apologized because she was free to do whatever she wanted, and asked for nothing. And just mailed the letter. And then, like 6 or 7 or 8 months later, she called me and she said, I'm coming to Metz and we can meet.
That's where you live,
And
just so for our listeners that I'm coming.
yeah, that's my hometown in the east of France, northeast of France. And so, and we reconnected like step by step and softly and kindly. And so I started to believe in my capacity to heal,
Mm,
and to work on myself.
yeah.
And I started to believe that I was not that awful person I believed I was, but I was a loving, lovable, growing human being. And I really started to believing in it. And that was a huge step and really huge. And then 2 years later, it was my son,
Mhm.
whom he had a baby with his uh, girlfriend. He's in the Alps. It's like 6 hours away from here, and they have that like hyper controlling parenting
Right.
thing, and we can't approach the baby. And that was also, I mean, I don't want to dig too deep into that, but it was also something really, really tough for me because I had those dreams of being a grandmother. Like when you've been an awful parent, you say, "Okay, I'm going to be the best grandmother," and and I just it was not in the stars for me. So I've seen my grandson who's going to turn 2 years old, and I've seen him like 3 times,
Mm,
and so once again I mean I was crying and crying and crying, and I was going, wow, why me, and then I just decided that I was going to do the same thing as for my daughter. I was going to take care of myself. I mean, I can't change what's going on their side. I can change my side. So
yeah.
one night, because everything happens at night for me, one night I decided I would start taking care of myself. And that's when I was on Instagram that night, and your ad just came up. So I was okay. So I never click on ads on Instagram, but I don't know why. Something in your face, in your voice, just made me click, and I enrolled in your free masterclass. It was very long. It was like
Mm,
3 hours. And at the same time, I was like trying to find the catch. So I went on the internet and trying to find information about you. And I just, what I saw was pretty good. And I found your book, which I bought and read. And, and I mean, it just made sense. I was, I was okay with hypnosis because I had already done that. I
you
had
done hypnosis before.
Yeah, I had done hypnosis. And I can't do hypnosis with anyone, with everybody, because I need really to trust the person. But you sounded like trustworthy.
Mhm.
so so I went, okay, why not? And I just jumped right in and never looked back. So I enrolled and answered like the questionnaire and had that great coach like Michelle who answered me. That was so nice. And we settled because at that time you could only pay like month by month, but with like the euros and the taxes and everything was not comfortable for me. So I wrote you and you answered me and said, "Oh, she answers me. That's nice." And so I could get an annual payment, and I just like jumped right in.
Well, that's so great. I want to ask you when you made that decision to kind of start taking care of yourself, and I know you had because we were talking about that, you had a big journey in front of you as far as like 100 pounds to release. I don't know if you were thinking of that at the time, like were you just like
No.
Just need to
Mm.
take care of myself. It wasn't because I remember our exchanges in the beginning too. And I know for you, I mean, it's my impression, and I could be wrong, was that one of the things you really wanted was to move, to be mobile, to be able to hike and be.
And feel free in my body. And
Yeah.
yeah, I wanted to be able to move again. And well, I said right from the start. I remember on Facebook, I wrote that I had over 100 pounds to release, which was true. So I wrote it, but I did not fix my mind on that because it was just too much. Okay,
Right.
so I believe in epiphanies,
Hmm.
and a good thing for me is that I had one right away because I started to track and
Hmm.
write the calories down,
Hmm.
and I realized how many calories I was taking in just by eating nuts all day long. Because I
Oh.
was I was eating nuts. I mean, I was eating healthy. I eat organic. But I used to eat healthy the way I thought I was supposed to eat. I would eat a lot of grain. I would eat a lot of nuts, and I would like graze nuts, okay, all day long, just about. And I love chocolate, so I would eat chocolate too. But I could eat like 100 grams of chocolate in one sitting. I mean, I just could eat huge amounts of food. And when I started to count the calories, I was like between 2 and 3,000 calories per day. I mean, and so it just blew my mind. It was insta epiphany.
Hmm.
And so I just stopped grazing nuts. I I stopped eating pasta and rice and all those refined carbs. And it was insta, and I just stopped that. And I started to really weigh and track everything I was eating. At first, it was kind of messy because I couldn't use the apps. I was not comfortable with Lose It and My Net Diary or whatever it's called. I was not comfortable with those apps because, I mean, it's like it's more uh, adapted to the United States, I think,
Right.
and less to our food. So, and the food I buy.
Right. I remember you saying that it was,
Yeah.
yeah, not.
Yeah, because I cook from scratch most of my things. And I cut down on bread because us French people, when bread is sacred, I could eat like, I don't know, uh, like 150 grams of bread per day. I mean, I would go to the bakery. The bakery is just like 100 yards from my house. And I would come back home with half the bread. I mean, it's just our bread is just like precious. But I really cut down on bread, and I don't eat that much bread now. So, I mean, it came progressively, but what really helped me is that just by cutting the carbs and cutting the nuts, I started to release weight really fast. I mean, I released like 2 pounds a week, like easily during the first months. So it went pretty fast, and that really encouraged me.
Hmm.
Um,
Were you feeling too, because you had done that, better in your body? Like the like inflammation and things like that around your joints and
yeah, it happened pretty fast. I mean, I also like if if we can speak about the 9 skills. I mean, I really started to build my support team pretty early, like my husband, uh,
Mhm.
who's like wonderful and very supportive,
Right.
and my PT,
Mhm.
very important, and my doctor
Mhm.
was also very supportive. At first, he was kind of like, okay, and then she was very interested. And I mean, my PT was really helpful. And after it took me about 3 months before I could like start to exercise, and I started to exercise with my PT because they have those like Pilates classes,
Yeah.
like 3 or 4 times a week,
Oh,
and I just enrolled in all of them. So I just enrolled in all the classes, and I have those written down on my calendar, and I would not miss any of those classes.
that's
And I think it helped me tremendously because it remodeled my body, and I could like see the progresses, and
yeah.
they could see it.
And also just Pilates is so great for your core. And I would imagine that it just made it easier for then you to move and use your body to hike
Yes, it.
and do the things that you started to do.
Yeah, I started walking like every day. I started walking and I restarted hiking. And I had that dream, if you remember, I had that dream to be able to do this um, the run in the Alps,
Mhm.
like the 27 kilometers run in the Alps. But I discovered in December that I have arthritis in both my knees. So I mean, a stage 4, like don't have any, I mean, soft tissues left there. So if I want to keep walking until I'm 90 years old, I have to stop dreaming of running. Running is not for me anymore. So whatever, it doesn't matter. I'm um, starting to take biking lessons starting next week. I just bought the helmet. It came through the mail today, so
That's
I
exciting.
rebounded. Yeah,
You're
because
gonna love biking. I was biking this morning. I went with my friend. Every week we go, and it's our religion. In on Sunday, we wake up and go biking in a beautiful Griffith Park. So you will
I
love it.
really
It's
hope.
very a great way to connect with yourself and your body, because it's a little different than hiking. We were talking about that this morning. It's a different experience, but it is sustainable because you
Your
don't
knees,
pound
right?
on
Your
your
joints,
knees in
right?
that way. It's not something that you can really do that's cardiovascular, that uses your lungs and in all of your muscles, but you can keep doing it because it's not tough on your joints.
Yeah, I hope I click with biking because I used to bike when I was a kid, but I was into an accident and
Oh gosh.
I lost my balance, and
Mhm.
I don't have balance on the bike anymore. So I'm taking lessons, and I
Oh,
hope it will work. I hope it will work. So that's good. And talking about reconnecting with myself, I mean, working with my PT was key because it really, like, Pilates classes really reconnected with me with my body. I mean,
mm.
like, we have the shift breath and all the breath exercises and meditation and hypnosis and everything, but physical exercise really reconnects us with our body,
Yeah.
and that's what I really found out with Pilates classes.
Well, I think what you're talking about, just to kind of reflect back what you're saying for somebody out there who maybe has a significant amount of weight to release, is that you started slow. You didn't even start truly exercising until 3 months in. Because I think
Yeah,
a lot of people think, oh, I've got to start right away the exercise, and
I could not.
yeah.
Mm,
And that what you did was, you started with yourself. You started connecting with yourself and you started to care about yourself
mm,
and you started to advocate for yourself. And then you moved out from there. You got the team. But, for people who don't know the shift and don't know a lot of and when Muriel's saying the 9 skills, it's just the 9 skills are based on research of people who have taken weight off and kept it off. And one of the skills is having a support team,
mm.
and they don't always come easy. Not everybody has a husband who's like willing to help out, or a PT, but but just even starting with yourself, like that's the number one person you want on your support team. Because often when we're dieting, we aren't even supporting ourselves. We're kind of against ourselves, but we're just, hoping to lose weight. So you really connected with your body, which is, I think, key. At what point, like, again, 100-pound release is it's an inner journey and then it's an external journey. For those listening who have a journey like that, and a significant journey, what you had support team, you started connecting with your body, and that seemed very self reinforcing, right? Like you could see the results, you could feel the results. You were in France. So how did you manage like the food? I think that's one of the things that I did want to talk to you about. And I don't want to interrupt your journey, but like how did you change feeding yourself other than like portion control, which it sounds like you didn't stop eating nuts, but you controlled the amounts and such. Like, did you feel like you were ever at a point where you were giving things up, or were you just getting more creative with how you were feeding yourself? Or, from somebody, like releasing 100 pounds, how did you change? I got that you got rid of a lot of carbohydrates. Did you start eating more fruits and vegetables? Like,
What I can say about carbs is that, I mean, it's not like I forced myself to stop carbs. It's more like I realized that I did not need them, because I was in a belief that I needed to have like pasta or rice or grain or whatever. And it had to be part of the diet. And it is something that, that is taught in France. I think it must have been the same thing in the United States. But in France, you have that ideal plate, and carbs is a big part of it.
Right.
And it's just a myth. We don't need those carbs. We don't need those carbs. And what I understood is that protein is key. Is that really protein is key, and especially at our age, because I'm going to turn 60 in October. And if you want to keep your muscles, you need to nourish them. You need to feed them proteins. And so when I understood that, I started to build my my plate around protein, because it really made sense. And so that's something that was important for me. And I didn't feel like I was depriving myself of anything, because it just made sense. When I was adding everything up, I was like listening to everything, all the material you give us, which is just amazing. And I was like confronting this to like scientific reviews and everything. And it just clicked in. It was just coherent, and
Right.
so I finally understood that. And it's just like, I don't need carbs. I haven't had, like, I can have pasta if I go to a restaurant or whatever. I'm not against pasta or even potatoes, whatever. But I don't need them. And so it's just, I just wrote them out. It's just, okay, so that's not necessary. And I have other things that I enjoy more than that.
Yes.
So I keep my calories for other things. See, and I've always cooked, but I was kind of lazy. Um, I mean, I was lazy. I was not planning my meals, and so when I was hungry, I need to feed myself right away. So it was not time to cook like vegetables or whatever. And so that's also something I understood. Um, I built a system, and I built routines. For instance, for me, starting the day is really key. So I always start the day listening to your meditations, because when you start the day like scrolling through the news, or it's so, I mean, it's so awful that you just like ruin your day. So
Yeah.
I just like start the day with your meditation, and then I have my breakfast ready, because breakfast is very important for me, because I don't want to be hungry during the day. So my breakfast is like 450 calories,
Hmm.
and it's very important for me. So I have those little jars, like 21 little jars, that every 3 weeks I prepare. And so I have the dry part of my breakfast ready. And so it's just like mechanical. My breakfast is something really, really easy to like to prepare.
Well, it
So
sounds like you built a ritual around it.
right. And that's very important for me, because routine simplified my life.
Well,
And
structure.
yeah, structure is very important for me. So, but I'm not hyper structured. So, I mean, I won't like regularly. I know I should do it, should, but I don't. I don't sit with my inner coach like on a regular basis. I know you do it. I know
It's
it.
okay. You
It
don't have
would
to,
be.
it doesn't,
I'm
if
not there yet. I'm not there yet. Okay,
but I
I'm
think
there.
that you have, like, again, you have created systems. Well, we don't even have to call it structure, but systems that work for you.
Yeah. And so for me, like stimulus control is very important,
Hmm.
because I mean, it's easier to resist food in a grocery store for 10 minutes than for a week in your house.
Yes.
So I really try not to have those food enter my house, those foods. And I track everything. I mean, every food I intake is written down with no judgment. It's just, I track everything. Um, I go to this grocery store. I'm used to go. I'm used to, and I I eat like in a pretty simple way. I buy fruit, vegetables, like chicken breast, and I I like to have ham with me, because you know those thin slices, because it's like fast protein for snacks. And I love skyr, um, Greek yogurt. That's that's pretty high in protein. I uh, I eat whey in the morning, like isolate whey, which is 94% protein and collagen, and my skin is just wonderful, because collagen really does the job. And I eat pretty simply, uh,
Hmm.
like down to earth food. And I don't know. I mean, I I don't know. Like it's Mirabelle plum season again, so I'm trying to fit in my Mirables, because I just love them, but they're very caloric, so I weigh them very carefully. And
Um,
it's that time of year again. So, and I have, I mean, I know some people plan ahead and just stick to their calorie budget. I'm not that kind of person. I kind of plan. I have a general structure, but then I compensate because I exercise a lot every day.
mhm.
So my calorie intake is pretty high. I'm between like 1600 and 1700 calories per day, but I burn like between 400 and 800 calories every day. So, and if when I track my food by the end of the day, if I notice that I went a little bit overboard or whatever, I have a bike at home. I can bike. I know that I can like watch an episode of whatever and just burn like 400 calories in a breath. So I kind of have this balance,
Mhm.
day-to-day balance, and I have an eye on my week, because I track everything and weekly, and so that works for me. So I'm not. I'm not planning everything ahead
Right. So you aren't
yet.
super, you aren't regimented like that. And but you have figured out your energy balance for weight release and maintenance. And you are now
Right.
in maintenance and you're figuring that out. Because it's every time it's kind of like we talk about in this shift, your inner scientist kind of figures out what works for you. Because
Yep. Mm. But I go grocery shopping like on a regular basis, so I always have the right food in the house.
that's very
So I feel secure uh, thanks to that. And as for the 100 pounds, I mean, I did not have. I mean, I had this far goal of releasing 100 pound and more, but I went like 10 pounds per 10 pounds. You know, like
yeah.
releasing
Some
the
people that
next five and next five, and just like step by step, because otherwise it was just too much. I mean, I mean, I really started to enjoy the journey too. I was thinking that 'cause when I used to hike before, I I was in so much pain that I would just have this horrific inner dialogue while I was walking. And today it has completely disappeared. I really enjoy walking. I enjoy the process. I enjoy the exercise. Before, I would, if I would exercise, it would be just to have exercised, you know. And today, I'm just so grateful. This morning, I was gardening. I spent 3 hours like weeding, pulling roots in the garden. And I was thinking of you. And I was thinking that, I mean, you can do a fast weeding, like scrape the surface and just like pull out the herbs and whatever, and the weeds and whatever. But that's not the way I do it. I like to have those 2-3 foot roots like pulled out, and then I really feel like I've done something. It's the same thing with the shift. I mean, we really like pulling roots, like deep roots. And I was thinking of that this morning when I was like pulling my weeds, and I was going, that's the same thing. I'm shifting in my garden.
I love that. I know. I do think of that too, about how pulling things out by the root, you kind of got to get to foundational places for
Yeah.
change. And it's same with your garden, right? If you want to change your garden, if you don't want the weeds to come back next year, you got to kind of put that time in and get 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 in there, get in the dirt and pull them out.
Yeah, especially if you don't want chemicals, like you don't want medication. I mean,
Yes.
see, so
Yeah.
you need to pull the roots out. And that's what we do with the shift. There's so much more than just weight. I mean, the weight is just like a byproduct
All
of
the inner work.
the, yes, right, exactly, all the inner work.
Um, how I did want to ask you, because thank you so much. You've really explored this so helpfully for everybody. I bet people are like, we were talking about the mythology of Americans. I told Muriel did not know. And I think our listeners, if you're in the United States, you remember that book, French Women Don't Get Fat. And
That's so untrue.
and tell us a little bit about, because you seen progressive weight gain since more American foods have been introduced in the French market, in the European marketplace?
Yes, no doubt about that. I mean, when people eat the way you eat, we gain weight the way you gain weight. I mean,
Right.
there's no miracle. It's all a
Right.
myth. And those skinny Parisians, the Parisians,
Yes.
the skinny cartoons about the Parisians. I mean, those women have weight issues like we do, and they keep like watching their food. And I mean, they don't. I mean, their inner dialogue is not healthier than ours. I mean,
Yeah.
there's no miracle in there.
No.
So
Oh, no, I
I
don't
think it's really a
think
myth.
so either. Yes, I think it's a myth. I think there was at some point this idea of I mean, I know you just were in Canada and you noticed a lot of differences. And one thing I've talked about is like portion sizes are definitely different, right? Like you said, when you come
Right.
here, portions are bigger. What the content of what we're eating is different. Culture.
Yeah, what shocked me is that there was sugar. There's sugar in everything. I mean,
Yeah.
in smoked salmon, there's sugar. In cottage cheese, there's sugar. And that's just something, I mean, I don't see in my grocery store. Maybe there's, I mean, other way, elsewhere, but not in my grocery store because it's organic and very simple. And I kept reading the labels just to make sure I would not intake too much sugar. Because and so I mean, great thing. It was the season of berries. It was berry seasons, and in Canada they have those great cameries. I don't know how you say it in English. Cameries in
That I
French.
wonder what that is. I wonder.
It looks like blueberries, but it's a little bit longer, and the shape is like softer, and but it looks like blueberries.
Okay.
And they had those amazing blueberries and raspberries and strawberries, and you can binge on that. I mean,
Yeah.
before you gain a pound, I mean,
Yeah.
it won't
Pull
happen.
you up.
You can binge on that, and so that was pretty safe. But yes, I was surprised by the amount of sugar I would find in everything, and I was surprised too by in France and in Europe, the nutrition facts all uh, relate to 100 grams. You know, you have all the facts for 100 grams or 100 milliliters. Okay. And in Canada, I maybe it's the same thing in the United States. I mean, the the reference is always different. You can't compare foods because there's like one portion size. It could be like 56 grams or 1 ounce or one pint or one
Yeah.
whatever.
I
And so you
think
can't
that's what
compare anything.
I think people have that same challenge because in the calorie apps, if they're using them, they're all different, you know,
Mm.
different portion sizes too. So it's
Yeah, so
hard to
it's
look.
hard to compare.
Yeah. Yeah, it is true. But
Yeah.
I if you so it's exciting you're turning 60. Believe me, the 60s are great, Muriel. You have nothing.
Okay, I'm good with that.
No, 60 is awesome.
Um,
There's something that happens, especially to a woman when she turns 60. I think that is a very positive thing. But uh, it's you enter into a whole new world of wisdom and ownership of yourself. If you're in a good place, you know, when you're in a good place health wise, and as you are. Um,
yeah, and I was so happy to be able to be a coach for the two last shift seasons, like fall
oh
and spring. That was amazing. I mean, I hope I could help people, but um, it's amazing to be a coach because you get really to dive deeper into um, what uh, what you've learned so
yeah,
far. And it's a really new level because when you need to transmit things to people, I mean, it's just very, very different.
yeah.
So
It changed.
um,
And that's why I think it is. It's such a powerful part of the process, really. Is
yeah, and you can measure the all the journey you've been
yeah.
through, and that's really, really great. I mean, it's a great step forward. So I'm looking forward to next season.
I'm looking forward to having you. So one last question, Muriel. If you were, you know, thinking about that person out there who might have been where you were
Mm,
in the January of 2020, when did you
4.
24?
Yep.
Um, where what would be your advice, like the first step forward, you know, if they were just and I'm not talking about joining the shift. I'm just talking about like, and then like, what is that first step that you would have them take?
I think the first thing, and it was an important thing for me too, is that believe in the fact that calories in, calories out really works.
Mm.
It does work. I mean, you can build your trust on that because
Mm-hmm.
there's nothing magical. There's no magical pill. There's no, like, I don't know, magic powder, whatever. It's just calories in, calories out. And that really works. I mean, that changed my life because I mean, up to then, I always thought there was something I could not understand, I could not grab. I thought my metabolism was, I mean, destroyed, and I was kind of, I had like magical ideas about my weight, and I was just like suspicions. No,
I think a lot of people have that. I think a lot
yeah,
of people are very flummoxed about weight, and there's so much mythology out there. And I think,
I went through menopause, and I mean, I went through many things, and um, calories in, calories out, it really does work, and we can really rely on that. So that's something we can build on.
and
And
I think when you're saying that to Muriel, and I don't mean to put words in your mouth, I'll just kind of translate through the words of shift, because it's not a diet mindset. It's more of, we're using it as a scientific way to have a conversation with yourself that's based in rational thinking rather than emotional thinking, which is often where we live when we are struggling with our weight. It's
right.
it's a lot easier to give up on ourselves when and say it's not working, whatever, rather than going, let me get curious. What didn't work here, or how did I go over, or what, or when you get on the scale and it's up, a really understanding that it's not necessarily up because you overate, but it could be water retention, it could be many things, and that changes
Yes, of
your
course.
ability to be consistent and just to,
Yeah, but on the long term, in the long term,
uh-huh.
it does work. And I mean, water weight is also a fact.
Yes.
So uh, there are facts there that we can really build on and trust. And so that's something.
Yeah.
And um, and then I wanted to say something I can't remember. I just skipped. Um, so calories in, calories out. So that's a fact.
Well,
I don't remember. I wanted to say something, but I can't remember.
I'm sorry if I distracted
No,
your.
no, it's okay. It's okay. It will come
Um,
back maybe. Um, and
oh,
then
go ahead.
um, yeah, and oh yeah, what I wanted to say is have a growing mindset. I mean, a growth mindset.
Mhm.
That means being curious and keep learning. That's what we call the apprentice.
Mhm.
And I mean, okay, I did something, it didn't work. Okay, so that's something I learned, and I keep moving on and keep moving on.
Yeah.
Just keep moving on. Don't beat yourself up. Just keep moving on. And
Right.
I mean, we have time. We're in and for the long haul, and I mean, we have time to release the weight, and there's so much more to the shift than just releasing weight. So there's so much more happening, and but we can really trust the math.
Yeah.
It does work. It does work, and there's always explanation, and we have resources. I mean, we have all your deep knowledge, and authors like Michelle, who's so I mean, savvy in nutrition, and
Mhm.
I mean, and so many people like willing to help, and so we have the resources to solve just about any problem in the community.
I
So
love that you just said keep going, because I think especially on a journey of 100 pounds or more too, it's like there are so many lessons. It's like, there. a number of people who have released 100 pounds in our community. And I think one thing that everybody says is that it's when you put that growth mindset on, which is what you were talking about, and we have that at the inner coach, and it's it's not, instead of looking at it as like, oh my gosh, I've got 100 pounds to lose, it's like, oh, I have a lot of lessons to learn along the way. Like there's like
That's right.
so many lessons to learn. And that's
Mm.
just the difference. And I had a client, I was talking to her, and she had this, I shared this in one of our other communities in the membership. And I was saying that she had an acronym. She said, OFG. It's an OFG moment. And I was like, OFG. And she's like, opportunity for growth.
Opportunity for growth. That's exactly it. Yeah,
And
I was going with Carol Dweck,
yes.
she said like growth mindset, but same thing, same thing. And so keep being curious, and I mean, and the shift happens on so many different levels that, I mean, it's just amazing when you look back and see the journey I mean, everything you've traveled, everything we've been through. I mean, it's just it's just wonderful to be able to um, I mean, to build all that. And I mean, what I really, really, really love is that um, it's it's made through freedom. So what I mean is, you don't guru us. You don't tell us what to do. You don't judge us. You don't. I mean, you don't guru us.
No.
You just, I mean, guide us so kindly, and we feel so free. We feel so free to be ourselves, to build our own system.
Yes.
And I think that's really precious because it's going to be for the rest of our lives. I mean, I'm conscious today that the way I eat today, the way I exercise today, I'm going to do it for the rest of my life. So it has to be sustainable. It has to be, I mean, uh, like right on spot for me. And the way I do it is the way nobody else does it.
Yeah.
It's just me.
You have
But
ownership. You
yeah,
have
right.
ownership. Yeah.
Right, exactly, exactly. And I think that's really important. And that makes all the difference. That makes all the
I agree
difference.
100% that that is what our objective is that you are creating a way of eating that you love, that works for your life,
Right,
so that you own that and you can keep it.
exactly.
Yeah.
And as I told you before, I'm pretty social, and I have like many events, and I just like it just works. I just build my system around everything. I plan my events. I do plan them, so I know I have those like color codes on my calendar, and I know whether difficulties are ahead are, and so I just like work things around that. And but I have so much trust in the fact that I can always get back on track. It's not even getting back on track because I'm not.
Focus.
I'm never far from the track, but I have so much trust, so much trust in the system that I mean, I can enjoy a restaurant, whatever. I just know that I know how to get back.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's really
That's
comfortable.
wonderful. Well, I want to thank you so much for coming on. I think you really took us on a journey with, from the inside out. And it was wonderful to hear your journey, Muriel. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Rita, for asking me. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes.
And well, good luck to everyone, and happy journey to everyone, because it's just we're lucky to be here.
Oh, thank you. I'm lucky to have you. Wow. Thank you, Muriel, so much for sharing your story with us. I mean, isn't she amazing? And I'm sure many of you can wrap your minds around how much self respect and love is required in a long term, permanent weight mastery journey. So please, please come and join me for my free masterclass. It's coming up soon. In fact, It's starting officially tomorrow, I believe, is the 13th. And I would love for you to join me there. www.shiftweightmastery.com/live. We're going to do some weight loss hypnosis. We're going to look into why you know everything about losing weight, but you are still struggling. Come blow past those subconscious points that are resistant to change and shift them so that they can be aligned with the rest of you so you can find success. So come and join us. The link is in the show notes, www.shiftweightmastery.com/live. And I will look forward to seeing you there. And remember that the key, and probably the only key to unlocking the door of the weight struggle, is inside you. So keep listening and find it. And I will be with you here next week. See you then. Thanks for listening to the Thin Thinking Podcast. Did that episode go by way too fast for you? If so, and you want to dive deeper into the mindset of long-term weight release, head on over to www.shiftweightmastery.com. That's www.shiftweightmastery.com, where you'll find numerous tools and resources to help you unlock your mind for permanent weight release, tips, strategies, and more. And be sure to check the show notes